let's dive into 10 of these creepy Japanese urban legends today, and you can let me know down in the comments which one you thought was the creepiest. And yes, I will get things mispronounced, wrong, information may be wrong too, so please don't come at me. Alright, let's dive right in. Tiki Tiki. A girl accidentally pushed off the platform at a train station just as the train was pulling in, was cut in half and perished on impact. Sometime later, a boy was walking home from school alone. He saw a girl through a window. She was leaning on the windowsill with her elbows looking outwards. She pushed herself through the open window. There was nothing the boy could do except stand there, horrified. He had just seen a girl fall from a window, and on any other day that probably would have been his low point. It might have been the low point of his whole life, if he got to live it. See, after the girl hit the ground, the boy realized something. She had no lower part of her body. It was gone. As he was trying to process this, the girl pushed herself up with her hands and started crawling toward the boy. She was at his feet before he even had time to run. He didn't even realize what she was carrying until the scythe was midway through his waist. As the two halves of his body fell to the ground, it was the sound that she made as she dragged herself toward him. That he heard last. Kuchisake Onna. If you ever find yourself alone on a quiet, foggy street after dark in Japan, you should probably beeline for the nearest populated place because you might just encounter Kuchisake Onna. At first, you probably won't be too upset about running into the woman. She seemed to just appear out of thin air right in front of you. She's gorgeous, wearing a white mask over her mouth. She asks you, "Am I beautiful?" You say, "Yes," because she really is. She takes off her surgical mask for you. Her mouth has been slit from ear to ear. She asks, "How about now?" You, say, "No." She slices your mouth from ear to ear with a pair of scissors, giving you a beautiful smile, just like hers. B, say, "Yes." She allows you to leave. And you think you've gotten off the hook. But when you arrive home, she appears again, killing you in your own doorway. C, say maybe. This confuses her. You run. She's so flummoxed that she doesn't chase you, and you escape. Or give her candy and makeup. I don't know. Women like that stuff, right? Dream School. One night, a boy had a dream about a school. It was a school he didn't recognize, and as he wandered the halls, he became increasingly unsettled. The hallway he walked down was a continuous loop, always bringing him back to where he started. He'd climb stairs only to find himself back on the first floor. The school was a maze. He couldn't figure it out. And as he started to become scared, he heard the sound of footsteps behind him. The sound was faint and far away, but instinctively he ran. The footsteps got closer and closer. He found an emergency exit with a glass flower box that held the key right next to it, but the glass had already been smashed. The key was missing. In its place, there was a note that said the key was in room 108. The boy ran off in search of room 108, and when he found it, he shut the door behind him. There were no students, but there were backpacks hanging off every chair. He would search them all frantically, turning out the drawers of the teacher's desk, but it was no use. The footsteps caught up with him. Now, someone was pounding on the door, and as the boy cowered, the pounding just stopped. The boy opened the door to the hallway, but quickly he wished he hadn't. The corridor was littered with children's corpses, their limbs scattered from end to end. He never woke up from his dream, and if you don't forget the story in 1 week, you'll have the same dream and be resigned to the same fate. The Girl from the Gap. You know that small gap between your dresser and the wall, or between your bed and the floor? Yeah, don't look. Because if you see a pair of eyes staring back at you, you're in trouble. The first time you see the girl looking at you from a small gap, she'll ask you if you want to play hide and seek. You don't have a choice. Even if you say no, you're still locked into her game, which isn't so much as a game as it is an exercise in never letting your eyes look on a gap ever again. If you see her a second time, she'll drag you down to hell. Akamanto. As if public bathrooms weren't already scary enough, there's a Japanese urban legend called Akamanto, or Red Cape, about some weirdo in a mask who hides out in the last stall of women's restrooms and asks his victims a question that's nearly impossible to answer. Get the answer wrong, and you die a terrible death. If you get the answer right, you live, but you've still been playing 20 questions in a bathroom with a ghost. There's no way to win with this guy. The legend goes like this. Red Cape was extremely handsome in real life, attracting the attention of every woman who saw him. He became so fed up with women desiring him for his looks that he began wearing a white mask, a tradition he continued in death. When you enter the last stall in a women's restroom that he haunts, you'll hear a voice. Himuro Mansion. This is a secluded, abandoned mansion just outside of Tokyo, where a series of brutal slayings were carried out. The family who lived there would carry out a sick practice called the strangling ritual. They believed that there was a portal on their property that brought them bad karma from within the earth. So in order to seal the portal, they would choose a local village girl at birth, raised in isolation, and tie her wrists and ankles and neck to 5 oxen, which would rip her limbs and head off her body. They would then take the rope, soak it in her blood, and lay it at the entrance of the portal. This protected them for 50 years. But something went wrong during the last ritual. The woman, who was supposed to have been raised in isolation, had formed a bond with a man who tried to rescue her. Because of this, the ritual didn't work, and the patriarch slayed his entire family before falling on his own sword. Now, the mansion is said to be haunted by his family. Rumor has it that the walls are splattered in blood. Fresh blood. Blood of the unfortunate people who go looking for the mansion. Looking for a thrill. Not knowing that the ghosts of the family are waiting for the next victim of the strangling ritual. Gozu. The story of the Gozu is a legend within a legend. According to the tale, a story called the Gozu, or Cowhead, appeared in Japan around the 17th century. It was so horrific that almost all copies of it were destroyed. Those unlucky enough to hear or read it trembled and shook for days before dying of fright. Only fragments of the tale remain to this day. Another version of the story holds that a school teacher was taking the students on a field trip. Tired of their chaotic behavior on the bus, he decided to try and get their attention by telling them horror stories. He had read part of the Cowhead story in the past and repeated that small section to the children. He only meant to frighten them a little bit, but they began convulsing and begging him to stop. He couldn't stop though. His eyes turned white, but he continued telling parts of the story he had never heard before, saying unspeakable things, losing all control as the children screamed. He would awake a few hours later, the bus in a ditch. The driver slumped over the steering wheel, shaking. And the kids, they were all unconscious, foaming at the mouth. Tomino's Hell. In 1919, Saijo Iyasu published a collection of poetry that included a poem called Tomino's Hell. It describes a young boy's experience in hell after committing unspeakable acts. The poem is already pretty creepy, but the legend that surrounds it is even worse. It is said that if you read the poem, you must read it in your own head and never read it out loud. If you do read the poem out loud, it causes disaster and sometimes even death. Okiku doll. There is an actual doll known as the Okiku doll on display in a temple in Japan. But why is a doll on display in a religious temple? Because rumor has it that its hair grows on its own for no apparent reason. And as if that weren't upsetting enough, a sample has supposedly confirmed that the hair that grows from the doll's head is human. The doll was originally given to a 2-year-old by her brother in 1918. She would pass away a year later, and her family kept the doll as a remembrance of her. But soon they realized that its hair appeared to be growing and growing. So they brought it to a priest, who observed it for a few months and confirmed their story. The doll, which was named after the little girl who owned it, was put on display in the temple and remains there to this day. Purple Mirror. A young girl was given a mirror by her mother. The girl loved the mirror and spent much of her time staring at herself in it. The girl was desperate to be beautiful, and she developed an eating disorder just trying to maintain her beauty. Every time she looked in the mirror, she looked gorgeous. After a few years, the girl wanted to redecorate, so she painted the mirror purple. After it was painted, she looked into it and was shocked by her appearance. She was dangerously thin, and her hair was lumpy and stringy. The eating disorder had taken a toll on her appearance, and now the girl could see that she was not maintaining her beauty. She was sabotaging it. Despondent, the girl threw the mirror on the ground, shattering it. She was making the final arrangements for her coming-of-age party on the 20th birthday when she was in a car accident. She would perish at the scene, whispering, "Purple mirror, purple mirror." Her parents searched for the mirror, but they would never find it. And that's gonna do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If my reading was good, let me know in the comments down below. Which one did you think was the scariest? Fire in this description, make sure to subscribe, and if you actually liked the video, make sure to leave a like that lets me know you want to see more just like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video.